It started with a small rumor, the kind that usually appears quietly in fan communities before suddenly exploding everywhere. A few posts appeared online late at night. Some fans claimed they had spotted a familiar car entering a quiet neighborhood. Others said they noticed something unusual on social media, tiny clues that seemed too coincidental to ignore. At first, it sounded like nothing more than the usual speculation that follows global stars. But then, one detail made people pause. According to those posts, Jimin had reportedly spent the night at Jungkook's house. For many fans of Jimin and Jungkook, even the idea of this moment felt instantly emotional. These two artists have shared countless memories over the years as members of BTS, but something about this particular story captured the imagination of the fandom in a different way. Maybe it was the timing. Maybe it was the way the clues slowly appeared, piece by piece. Or maybe it was simply the reminder of how close they have always seemed to be. When people first read the rumor, the reaction was almost immediate. Social media lit up with curiosity. Could it really be true? Had Jimin really stayed overnight at Jungkook's place? And if so, what kind of moment might have happened during that quiet night that fans could only imagine from afar? Of course, moments like this are always surrounded by speculation. No one truly knows every detail of what happens behind closed doors in the lives of global artists. Yet the fascination wasn't about invading privacy. Instead, it was about something else entirely. Fans were remembering the long history between these two performers, a history filled with small gestures, laughter, and an emotional connection that has always stood out. To understand why this rumor became so powerful, you have to look back at their journey together. For more than a decade, Jimin and Jungkook have grown side by side. They trained together when they were still teenagers, chasing impossible dreams. They stood on small stages before eventually performing in sold-out stadiums across the world. And through every step of that journey, their friendship continued to evolve. Fans often talk about the chemistry between them. Sometimes it appears during interviews, when a simple glance turns into shared laughter. Other times it shows up during live performances, where they instinctively move in sync, as if they understand each other without speaking. Over the years, these little moments built a narrative that fans lovingly follow. But that night, if the rumor is true, felt different. Imagine the scene for a moment. The day is long over. The busy schedule that usually surrounds global stars finally quiets down. The cameras are gone, the crowds are gone, the noise of the industry fades into the background, and somewhere in that peaceful moment, Jimin arrives at Jungkook's house. What would that moment feel like? Would it be casual, the way close friends visit each other without thinking too much about it? Or would there be something deeper about it, a quiet comfort that only people who have known each other for years can understand? Fans immediately began analyzing the possibility. Some pointed out how both artists had recently talked about wanting more peaceful time away from the spotlight. Others remembered how often Jungkook has mentioned enjoying quiet nights at home. Could it be that Jimin simply came over to relax, escape the stress of the industry, and spend time with someone who understands him better than most people? If that was the case, the idea itself was enough to melt hearts. One fan wrote online that imagining the two of them sharing a quiet evening felt strangely comforting. After all the pressure they face, isn't it nice to imagine them having a normal moment like anyone else? Watching movies, talking about life, laughing about old memories? But what truly fueled the excitement was something else that happened later that night, or at least what fans believe might have happened. Around midnight, a few subtle clues appeared online. Nothing dramatic, nothing confirmed, just tiny hints that made people wonder if something meaningful had taken place during that late-night visit. Some fans noticed that Jungkook posted a short clip on social media around that time. The clip itself seemed ordinary, but the mood felt unusually warm. Soft music played in the background, and the atmosphere looked almost like a glimpse into a private moment. Was Jimin there when that clip was recorded? No one could say for sure, yet the possibility alone sparked endless conversation. This is where the emotional side of the story began to grow. Fans started remembering other moments between the two artists that felt similar. There was the time they stayed up late talking during a live broadcast, the time Jungkook admitted he often feels comfortable opening up to Jimin, the time Jimin teased him gently during a concert rehearsal, only to smile proudly when Jungkook nailed the performance. Each memory added another layer to the story, and suddenly the idea of that overnight visit didn't feel like a simple rumor anymore. It felt like another chapter in a long friendship that fans have watched unfold for years. But let's pause for a moment and think about something deeper. Why does a story like this resonate so strongly with people around the world? After all, celebrities visiting each other's homes isn't unusual. It happens all the time in the entertainment industry. Yet when it involves Jimin and Jungkook, the emotional reaction becomes something much bigger. Perhaps it's because their connection represents something fans rarely see in the world of fame. From the very beginning of their careers, both artists have been open about the challenges they faced. The training was intense, the expectations were enormous, and the spotlight never stops shining. In that kind of environment, genuine friendships become incredibly valuable. Over the years, fans have watched them support each other through everything: success, exhaustion, growth, even moments of doubt. So when people hear that Jimin might have spent the night at Jungkook's house, they don't just see a visit between two stars, they see a symbol of that lasting support. And that's where the romantic moment fans keep talking about begins to take shape. Not necessarily romantic in the traditional sense, but emotional, meaningful, and deeply human. Imagine two friends who have shared more than a decade of life together. Imagine the conversations they might have when no one else is around. Maybe they talked about the future, about new music, about how their lives have changed since those early trainee days. Maybe they laughed about old stories from their dorm days when everything felt uncertain but exciting. Or maybe they simply sat in comfortable silence, appreciating the rare chance to slow down. That kind of moment doesn't need cameras to be powerful. In fact, sometimes the most meaningful moments happen precisely because the cameras aren't there. Fans know this, and that's why the story touched so many hearts. One fan comment captured the feeling perfectly. They wrote something like this: "After everything they've been through together, imagining them just spending a quiet night feels so precious." Another fan asked a simple question that quickly went viral. What do you think they talked about that night? It's a fascinating question, isn't it? Because the answer could be anything. Maybe it was something ordinary. Maybe it was something deeply emotional. Maybe it was simply two people enjoying the comfort of someone who truly understands them. And perhaps that mystery is part of the magic. Moments like this remind fans that behind the global fame and massive stadium tours are two human beings who still value friendship and connection. Of course, the internet being what it is, not everyone interprets the story the same way. Some people see it as proof of a special bond, others simply view it as a normal visit between friends. But interestingly, even those different interpretations often lead to the same emotional conclusion. People love seeing these two artists together. Why? Because their interactions feel genuine. When Jimin laughs at something Jungkook says, it doesn't look forced. When Jungkook proudly praises Jimin's performances, it feels sincere. These moments create a sense of authenticity that fans rarely find in an industry often criticized for being overly polished. So when a rumor about a quiet overnight visit spreads across the internet, it taps into years of emotional investment from the fandom, and suddenly everyone is asking the same question: what really happened that night? Did they stay up late talking about music? Did they watch old performance videos and laugh at their younger selves? Did they plan something exciting for the future that fans haven't discovered yet? Or was it simply a peaceful night between two friends who needed a break from the chaos of fame? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear. The story reminded fans of something powerful. The connection between Jimin and Jungkook continues to inspire people around the world. Even a simple rumor about a sleepover turned into a moment of collective warmth for the fandom, and perhaps that says more about their impact than any official statement ever could. But now let's turn the question to you. If you imagine that night, what do you think happened? Do you picture laughter echoing through the house as they recall old memories? Do you imagine deep conversations about the future of their careers? Or do you think the most meaningful part was simply the quiet comfort of being together? Fans everywhere have their own theories, and that's part of what makes the story so fascinating. Moments like this remind us that music isn't just about songs and performances. It's also about the relationships behind the music, the friendships that shape the artists we admire. And in the case of Jimin and Jungkook, that friendship has clearly left a lasting impression on